Hey all you sketchy people! Welcome back to my channel, Jack here, and in today's video we are going to be celebrating 8 years of Sketchy People. 8 years, yeah. July marks another trip around the sun with this really fun project I call Sketchy People. And if I haven't drawn you yet, stay your true, lovely, sketchy self because you could be next. I'm going to break down some graphs and stats and let you know what kind of sketchy person I draw the most. I'm also going to talk about how this project has gone beyond the page and connected the community. So, without further ado, let's get sketchy. And this is the first sketch that would become Sketchy People #1. I've talked a lot before of the importance of bringing a sketchbook with you everywhere you go, and I used my sketchbook to jot down this scene. Sketchy People is a visual journal to my life, and it really sets up ways for me to remember days in my life. I do keep a text journal, but I also view Sketchy People as a visual journal. This was a really unique morning in that I took a lot of different means of transportation to get to work, and this sketch right here really helps me remember the events of that morning. When I arrived at work, I got out my pen and finished this sketch out, and I had no idea that this would become the Sketchy People project. I got home later that day and I was like, well, I'll draw it again, and I just want to do pen only. And that's the way I do all Sketchy People sketches, is just by pen, and I kind of like the sketchiness and weirdness and the style that I get by doing that. And when I was at Starbucks one day, I saw this gentleman with the ventriloquist dummy, and I was like, okay, this is another interesting scene. I'll draw this one as well. And I used to live in Northeast Portland, and I saw this scene with a very rotund chihuahua, a lady drinking Old English, and a guy eating Funyuns saying, "Morning." It was just a very interesting sight, and I had to sketch this one as well. This was quite the sight. I mean, maybe this guy was going to use this pizza box as a shipping box? I don't know. But what I like about Sketchy People is that it marks time. This downtown branch of the post office doesn't even exist anymore. You'll notice the number 4 on the lower right is a different ink weight than the signature. It took me about till Sketchy People #10 that I realized that this was going to be a chronological sketch project, and I just started numbering them after about number 10, and then I went back and numbered them. I didn't realize that, oh, I draw people now, and this is going to be a series. This is Sketchy People. In 8 years, I have drawn 1,706 Sketchy People. And we take that number and we divide it by the number of years, and that equals 213.25 per year. That's quite a few sketches. Who do I sketch? Let's take a look and see. To make this pie graph, I needed a few categories to place these Sketchy People into, and they are as follows: overheard or quotes, skateboards, sports equipment, pets. I even made a pets book once upon a time. Musicians, bikes, smoking, alcohol, costumes, and cars or trucks and motorcycles. So I felt that that was a pretty good swath of categorization for Sketchy People. I do a lot more than that, but those are the constant themes I feel that would best represent this upcoming pie chart. And if I feel a sketch didn't meet those criteria, I've just placed them in the rando sketches, which accommodates 47% of the Sketchy People. And they look something like this. Taking up 15% of my sketches is overheards or quotes. 8% of the time, I'll be drawing a bike. 7% of the time, I'll be drawing someone with their pet, and of those pet sketches, dogs are 50% of the pet sketches that I do. It was really fun to meet Larry and his llama Cesar, the no drama llama, and to do this sketch and get it out there. This really helped the reach of Sketchy People because Larry and Cesar are quite popular. They do a lot of shows around the Pacific Northwest, and we've even teamed up to do a lot of shows together. We even went on live TV one time and appeared on Tonight with Cassidy. Here's a little flashback.
Before we end the show with Cesar, Larry, Jack Kent, the creator of Sketchy People, the third book, year 3, is coming out this Sunday. You have been sketching throughout the whole show.
That enough.
What did you create for us?
Well, when Enzo came up, he said a great line. He said, Cesar feels like a squishy beanbag. And so I had to get that in there.
Have you heard that description of Cesar before, Larry?
Never. Squishy pillows, but never beanbag.
Shout out to Cassidy, Larry, and Cesar, always keeping it sketchy. 6% of the time, I'm drawing a vehicle of some kind. They can be really sketchy. Costumes are one of my favorite things to sketch. Street musicians are so fun to draw. People smoking is a really fun thing to draw. In fact, one of my favorite things to draw is the smoke lines coming from a cigarette. Sports equipment can be really fun to draw. I love a good skateboard scene.
Know how to ride the hot rod skateboard.
And sometimes you gotta keep the party going and wet that whistle with a cold one. I hope you enjoyed that breakdown of Sketchy People by the numbers. I mentioned earlier in the video about Sketchy People going beyond the bounds of a page. And after 8 years and over 1,700 Sketchy People drawings, one of the main questions I do get is, do people recognize themselves as a sketch? And with that many people I've drawn, it's happening more and more. People do recognize themselves, or at least they can go, hey, I know that person. And it's that community that I think is really starting to grow with this project. When I was putting together my most recent video about Portland graffiti, I was contacted by some friends of street artist Sonder. I had sketched Sonder in the past, and they had let me know of his untimely passing, which was really touching and really unfortunate, but it's this project that really captures and celebrates people at a point in time. I remember a few years ago I was sitting on a porch with my grandma, and she asked, "Will you draw me? I want to be a sketchy person." And when the matriarch of your family asks that, well, you grant their wish and make them a sketchy person. She used Sketchy People books as coloring books to help with her dementia. She's no longer with us, but she is forever with us in that sketch. And I think that's what Sketchy People have really started to do, is to celebrate moments in time and never forget. When I learned about Yohei Sato's passing, I learned quickly that it was unfortunate that I never got to meet this wonderful human. Friends and family contacted me saying, hey, you drew Yohei. And Yohei was riding with his dog in the basket, and I love dogs in baskets. I will always sketch that moment when it arises. And it was really touching to be contacted that way to help celebrate his life. His family came over from Japan, and they took that sketch back with them, and it's in their home for a shrine for their son Yohei. And I just got chills now thinking about that my sketch is on Yohei's shrine in their family home. And that really taught me something about this project, and that this project is, I don't really think it's my project. I think it's all of our projects. I'm just a conduit of people that I see, and they're you. They're all of you, and I share them with you. It's not a project that I don't think I can have full ownership, and I'm not saying I ever did. I just think it was moments like that I realized that this project is bigger than the bounds of a page, and I'm really happy to do it and share all of us for all of us. I think it's a really good community connection, and I'm really happy that all of you are you, and I thank you for all the support. And I'm just happy to document some moments that I see that we can remember forever. So for all these moments that I've drawn, they're all near and dear to my heart, because like I said earlier, this is a visual journal of my life, and I'm just really happy that you are all a part of it. Thank you. And this summer also marks 4 years of Sketchy People being printed in the Willamette Week. Thank you so much to the Willamette Week for printing my sketches every Wednesday. It is an absolute thrill, honor, and dream of mine to have Sketchy People in print. And every Wednesday, if you're in the Portland area, make sure to pick up a new issue from the blue boxes to see the latest Sketchy People sketch, as well as other amazing comics from talented cartoonists. Stay sketchy. Made it to the end of the video, and I want to tip my hat to you and thank you so much for doing so. And if you like this kind of art, this kind of page, channel, whatever you want to call it, of travel and wacky sketchiness of the community, I think I've got you covered. So maybe tap that subscribe button, join in the fun with a comment down below, and I hope to see you next time. And until then, stay sketchy.
Oh yeah, that's why I am a rock star, man. Rock and roll!